How's it going, neighbors? This is Ed here with etrailer.com, and we're taking a look at the Aries oval black running boards for your 2024 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. So when you add running boards to your Jeep, it's gonna do a few different things for you. It's gonna give you a step to get into the vehicle, and it also adds to the appearance. The installation is really easy. It's just a lot of hardware. So let's go ahead and let me show you how to get your Jeep hooked up. So let's take a closer look at our Nerf bars to see what makes them special. So let's start with the construction. You're gonna have a black powder coated steel with treated metal underneath. So once you eventually nick that powder coat, you don't have to worry about it all rusting and flaking away. You're gonna have 4-inch pads for you to step on for your tread, and you have a nice textured surface that's gonna allow you to get a little bit additional traction. It's nice and wide, it's about 19 inches long. It's gonna give you plenty of space for the largest foot to hop in there. And in general, it's just real sturdy and very well put together. In general, the thing that sticks out most to me is just the installation. It is a breeze, but it's just a little bit tedious. So I'm gonna get you lined up and I'm gonna show you how to get this done. So we're gonna start by grabbing our wrenches. You're gonna need to get an M6, M8, M10, and M12 socket wrench or box wrench, whichever works best for you. You can do either. You definitely are gonna also need a torque wrench to get to the specified torque requirement. And from there, basically what I do, I just lay all my hardware and parts out. Your brackets are gonna be specific for their position. So you're gonna have driver front, driver center, driver rear stamped right onto your bracket. And then you'll also have the corresponding support brackets as well. So let's take a look underneath to see how we get started with our brackets. So right under here, you're gonna find your first attachment point. There's a hole in your frame for you to drill this in, and there are gonna be 2 holes right at this pinch weld on the body. You're gonna take your 10mm bolt with the corresponding lock washer and flat washer, and we're just gonna hand tighten it into the weld. And we're just gonna hand tighten because we're gonna need our brackets to kind of be loose in order to align it with our Nerf bar later on. So it just saves us headache later. So just enough to hold it up. I'm not gonna put a wrench to it or anything, just to support it with the threads. Now that I have this hand tightened, we're gonna move to the support bracket that's gonna fasten through these 2 holes in the body. Now we're gonna secure our support brace, and it's also labeled driver front stamped onto it, and you're gonna be able to flip that on. So you want to align with the holes in your frame and this hole right here on our bracket. Just gonna fasten our hardware through, hand tight, just to hold it in position. Again, for that same reason, we just want it loose enough where we can make adjustments when we put our bar on. Now we're gonna take our 8mm bolts with this corresponding washer and nut, and we're gonna feed it through the hole in the body. And we're just gonna tighten that on just to fasten our hardware hand tight onto the vehicle. So you wanna make sure that your fastener does have the washer on both the exterior and interior. That's gonna sandwich between the pinch weld here on the body to give you more stability with your bracket. And now that we have our hardware hand tightened, we're gonna do the same thing on the rear and center. All right, and now we're completing our installation with our last bracket on this side. So from here, what we're gonna do is get our bar and get it set up to attach it. Now that we got our brackets on, we're gonna install our Nerf bar. We're gonna align the holes in the bracket with the holes on the bottom of our bar, and they just bolt right on. So it's pretty straightforward. So I'm just gonna lay it across our brackets, and then we're gonna go underneath and make those connections. So now we're gonna break open the bag for the hardware that's separate for mounting your step. And I'm just gonna feed it through the hole in the bracket and just start them into the holes. So now you just wanna get those hardware started in hand tight. You just wanna make sure that you have your 13mm handy for later, but the key is just getting it in fastened enough to keep it stable and sturdy while you make all your connections. So I'm gonna move to the center and then rear, and then we can go back and fasten everything down. One thing I found that this is a little bit tedious, but it's not difficult at all. If you take a little bit of preparation on the beginning, get all your tools together, lay your parts out where you're gonna install them, that little bit of prep will make it so much easier. So now we're gonna grab our wrench and go back and fasten everything down. Now that we got all of our hardware fastened down, we're going to go through and make sure that we're at the specified torque requirement for all of our bolts. All right, now we're going to make sure that we're at our torque spec for all of our fasteners, and then we're good to go from there. So we're just going to take your torque wrench and make sure you're locked in. So now that we have our hardware installed, we're going to test out our step. I have Sam here. He's going to be our model. Can I have you make use of our Nerf bar here? And as you can see, it's solid, and all of his weight is shifted onto the vehicle itself. So it's installed correctly, and we're good to go. So installation is super easy, and as far as getting it put together, it's just tedious because there's a lot of nuts and bolts and hardware to put together. But if you take your time, lay it out ahead of time, get everything ready, then it goes pretty smoothly. I would say that in general, when you have a Jeep without running boards or Nerf boards on those guys, they look naked. So adding something like this makes it look more put together, and it just gives you an additional step to hop in as well. This has been a look at the black oval Nerf bars from Aries on our 2024 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. I'm Ed, this is etrailer.com, and you have a great day.